Do the hustlers. It's a podcast.
Normally I just hit the button and then something comes to me. And that's exactly what I did. Welcome back to Hurd Ya Saw. I'm coming at you live from the brand new sexy domicile of Chay Collins, who's also here.
Hello.
Yeah.
Thank you for not trespassing.
Yeah, I was let in like a vampire. You said you can come in, podcast man, and I was like, we just watched Hustlers. Ah.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do one-line hot takes.
We're gonna do one-line hot
since we've done a
takes.
podcast.
I will say, this isn't my one-line hot take, but it is the thing that having a podcast often does. It makes you sort of have a laugh when you try and think about how you feel about some films, because you realise, oh no, I have to try and process a really bad feeling in my heart into words. And that's what I'm gonna do right now. So we start as ever with a round of one-line hot takes. And Chay, do you want to go first or shall I? I think I'll go first. I'll go first. Okay. My one-line hot take is, I went into this film a young man full of dreams and hopes and ideas, and with optimism on my side, and I've come out like, who's the guy who went into a forest and slept for 1,000 years?
No.
Not Rasputin. Not Rumpelstiltskin. Who's the great guy who sleeps in the wood and it's like 100 years later? It's like a folktale. I'm that guy. Listeners, you get the thing. You know. It's like a folktale. Like, it's a known thing. Anyway, the movie's really long and I came out an old desiccated bag of bones. And, like, nothing works anymore, including my mind or my mouth, apparently. Chay.
My one-line hot take is, by the way, in my new domicile, noise is
It's an
worse.
issue. It's an issue.
That
gives us the urban gangster flavour of being in the seedy East End of London.
Yeah. I feel the craze right next to me. My one-line hot take is, have we truly recovered from the financial crash of 2008? And part 2, will we ever truly recover from the film Hustlers?
Oh, dang. Okay, so, the plot summary, and also I want to just, listeners, you may be worried that since it's just me and Chay, this is going to be a long and weird cast. I think we can confidently say this is not going to be a long cast. Might be a little weird. It's not going to be long. Because honestly, there's not much to say about this one. I'm just going to get up front. This movie's not very good. I did not enjoy it. I'm just going to say that up front.
I did not enjoy it either.
Cool, podcast over. Anyway, no, the premise is that Destiny is a stripper in New York? Yes? New York?
Yes.
Yeah. And she is not very good at it. And then she makes friends with Jennifer Lopez, Ramona, who's good at it. And they become friends. And then the financial crash happens, so the sexy Wall Street guys, rich Wall Street guys with their money.
They're not sexy.
No, they're mostly very mediocre. They stop coming with all of their money because all of their money's gone because of the crash, even though rich people are actually very insulated from the financial... But anyway...
They all got bailed out.
They did. Fucking bastards. And so they decide to start hustling and drugging people and stealing their money. It goes fine for a bit, and then it doesn't go fine, but they're still kindred spirits. And that's the whole movie. And that's... Here's the question I have. What was the runtime of this film?
I think it was like 2 hours.
It felt longer.
Like 2.5.
It did. It felt very long. Because the pacing in this movie is bad.
Yes, because the first bit where they're strippers, like 30 minutes, and then the drugging happens, and it feels like that's the rest of the movie, and it doesn't develop much from there.
Yeah.
It develops very incrementally.
Very little happens very quickly. This was just... there were so many scenes of just montages of either people buying things, people drinking things, or people going, "You're my girl," at each other. And like, it's just not very interesting. There's nothing happened.
No, what also annoyed me about that was that they could have easily montaged some of the drug developments,
Yeah.
the drugging of people developing into how it became more troublesome
Yeah.
throughout time. They could have montaged that and
Yeah.
cut out 30 minutes of that film.
Yep. Okay, let's not be too. Okay,
Do you want to do positive?
let's try and find things that we liked.
I liked J-Lo.
Jennifer Lopez.
I thought she really... If it wasn't for her, I probably would have walked out of the movie. Because I thought she was an engaging screen presence.
Yes. I mean, the thing is, like, Constance Wu.
I also like Constance Wu.
Yeah, she didn't do well in this.
No.
I feel like the problem is less with the actors and more with the script.
Yes.
It was mostly uninteresting characters talking about largely uninteresting things.
But I feel like J-Lo should be highlighted being like, look, she really went full on out to be charming with her character and
Yes.
be like, yes.
Yeah.
I could see myself becoming friends with this person.
Yeah.
because
I
she
wish
seems
we'd got a
nice.
little more development, perhaps, of her character. Because she was very much the foil of the piece, and as such, she always remained slightly enigmatic. It's like we learn very early that she has a kid, and she's got this whole super strong friendship with Constance Wu, but which just seems to be like, yeah, fine. I was thinking there was going to
There
be
doesn't seem to be much conflict with it's like it seems like there should be conflict with their friendship where it disbands more, but it's always like, yeah, but they're always sisters and they're always together.
Yeah, and also
But
like
there was never a real like moment where it really like took them down and then they regained their relationship.
Yeah.
It was always just like, it's always middling that. It's
The
not
thing that I
going
thought
well.
is that I was expecting there was going to be... I was thinking that because of the theming of the film seemed to be about... fundamentally about the notion of the use and application of power, I thought it was going to be that J-Lo's character was going to offer Constance Wu's character a way to, like, get one back on the rich men who they have to, like, grind on for money and, like, take them for all their worth. And I was like, okay. And I thought it would probably develop in this way of being, like... And then J-Lo starts to basically become the new person who's kind of exerting power over destiny as a character. I mean, obviously it's based on true events, so...
And that kind of does happen, but not...
Kind of. Very loosely. The thing that I didn't get, in a movie that has lots of really long, padded sequences of fucking nothing happening, they did the whole bit where she's like, hey, you know what, we should stop doing this with the club and go our own way because fuck it. And you're like, what? What? It's like, and then things got dangerous. Did they? Yeah, there's this man who's slightly pushy. And that's all that happens. And you're like, I feel like we've shifted gear without really acknowledging what should be the real change in dynamics in the film. Like you say, it's very neutral.
I like... It feels horrible to shit on... But if I would guess that part of the problem with like shifting dynamics is that the film, as its like formal tone, didn't allow it to shift dynamics. Remember that moment where Constance Wu suddenly has a nightmare sequence, and
Which they set up like 5 minutes before.
But we were both like, what's going on? And it's we both knew what was going on. But
Yeah, we were like, oh, it's that nightmare she
what?
mentioned 5 minutes ago, which she'd never been alluded to earlier in the film, but okay.
But because the way the film was shot in that kind of almost like, hey, we're in a music video that's slowed down.
Oh, yeah, very slow music video. The Christmas sequence.
But it felt like, oh, we can't have that nightmare sequence because the film's style doesn't really allow for it, and therefore these shifts in dynamics where like something big and emotional could happen, the film style didn't allow for it.
Yeah, it was very middling. A lot.
Yes.
You know, this is what it made me think of.
It felt like they probably were like, here's a real story. These people seem nice, which they are probably, but they didn't like the writer didn't take liberties of being like, let's actually put some real drama in here.
Let's have a narrative
Not
properly.
Yeah, it's like, oh, they're female friends, and it's fun to watch female friendship.
I mean, it's fine, but also like I like things with
I
female
like
friends
them
and
too.
stuff. Like, you know, I'm evangelical with getting people to watch Broad City and just being like,
That's
it's
a great show.
you know, great show and typified about female friendship, and I like seeing that kind of stuff. But those characters are interesting, and with the exception of Ramona, Jennifer Lopez, like no one else is really very interesting. There's the girl that throws up. There's the girl. There's the girl whose boyfriend is in prison. There's the one who's a criminal and a crackhead, and Russians. And Lizzo is there for a bit.
And Cardi B.
Oh yeah.
For like a real hot second.
Yeah. Like, what was that whole bit where she was just like having a massive go at the guy who's not a bouncer but is like the guy I'll get you coke but also give me money guy? That seemed like it was gonna maybe go somewhere, but it didn't.
I think it was just trying. I guess that's why you never see her in the film again, because the whole point was that the infrastructure of the strip club. If you messed with like those guys, you.
Oh.
Maybe, but
Maybe.
also it didn't really get. She never appeared after that.
Yeah, it was just. You know what this movie made me think of? It made me think of Molly's Game.
Oh, that's a bad film.
It's not a good film, but it's better than this. Would be my take, because it's basically the same story of a woman using a skill and skullduggery to get one over on rich entitled men, and it go blowing up in her face. And this was like Molly's Game, but without the craft, because I think Molly's Game is a better made film in that it has solid pacing and like uses filmmaking better. And like Molly is actually a character with deeper motivations to do the things she does, other than like money, nightmares about cars. My parents abandoned me, but we don't learn that until like the fucking third act, and it's never been mentioned or even alluded to. It's like, oh, she lives with her grandma. And I'm like, okay, she lives with her grandma. Well,
Yeah.
I guess it was right there in front of me, but I don't care.
Other positives? You like the shot where they took a guy into a car,
Yes.
and then it kept panning across the car, and they came out with another guy to
Yeah, in a
suggest,
different location.
hey, they're doing this over time.
Yeah, and I liked. I found the sequence with the dude where she like had to get the dude to the hospital, and she had the blood on her shirt. She went to her house to go get her kid, but the kid was at the neighbours. She went and got the neighbours. Then she took the kid to school.
yeah.
I was like, that was a good scene. That's about it. Didn't really like anything else. I will say it did make me think also, man, strip clubs are weird.
They are weird. It was.
I don't get why you'd throw money.
No.
It's like, sure, the pole dancing is impressive and it's a lady with tits. Oh ho. The internet's there, and just go to a fucking like actual cabaret. They'll do cooler stuff.
Yeah, cabarets are fun.
Yeah, they are. Like, I've had some great times in cabarets and stuff. See, like, tightrope walkers and shit. It's great.
I have one other positive thing.
Okay.
Then turned into a negative thing.
Go for it.
Right at the beginning, so when Constance Wu begins at the strip club,
Yes.
and she's not very good, so she goes up to the roof to meet Jennifer Lopez,
Yes.
Ramona, and
After she's been impressed by her rad pole dancing.
Yeah, exactly, and it's like, so what was nice in that moment is that Ramona has a fur coat, and I was like, oh, and she puts Constance Wu under her fur coat, like literally
taking her under her wing.
I was like, oh, I don't think anyone has literally ever done that in a movie before, and I was like, that's fun, that's quite good. But then things like that just kept happening, where the film was on the nose all the time. Like when Dawn is introduced as a character, then the song.
Yeah, the
like,
song.
hey, it's Dawn. I don't know. What
Yeah,
the
it was
song
all like, I could see it coming. It was Dawn or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the ending being like, hey, I'm Ramona, and I'm here to tell you the moral of the film.
What have I got in my purse? I can't believe the ending. Like, we thought the film had ended a while ago. We God wished it had, and then we had to watch Jennifer Lopez take things out of her purse for like fucking three and a half minutes. I was just like, It's like, oh, she never really.
Hey, did you know America's a strip club? And oh, okay, sure.
The bit like also when the thing that did felt hollow to me is that like. There's a, she's like, I always kept a picture of young Constance Wu, whom I never met, but for some reason I have a photo of, right? I always kept it because I felt like we had a real connection. And I'm like, movie, you never gave us any reason to doubt that. Like, even when Constance Wu turned around and said, Jennifer Lopez, I've turned you into the police because I took the deal. Jennifer Lopez gives her a hug and goes, yeah, that's fair. And you're like, oh, great. So she took that in the best way possible. So why are we meant to believe that their friendship didn't go good? What? I just didn't. This wasn't very good. I wanted to like it.
Yeah, I wanted to like it. Everyone was saying good things about it.
Yeah, the liars. Someone said it was like really funny. I'm like, it's not funny.
No, we didn't laugh. Not at an appropriate moment.
No, like, I'm glad Usher got to be in it.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Good.
Also, the dude who was Jennifer Lopez's boss at the retail sale. He's
in this moment, Nick just turned to me and went, to be honest, throughout the movie, I was like, that's Jennifer Lopez, right?
Yeah,
at the beginning, 'cause
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. But then Nick was like, this dude up in was like, that's a guy from Things. I'm like,
he's in. I know him from Parks and Rec. He played
Okay.
Senator Jam in Parks and
okay.
Rec. And he was
Yeah,
playing.
at the time, you didn't know.
Yeah, and he was playing the same character as he does in most things, which is like, I'm kind of an entitled douchebag who's eating a sandwich. Rah. But yeah, this movie is not good.
I think there's better films about.
Would you
I think
say?
there's better films about female friendships. I think
Yep.
there's better films about revenge on Wall Street or like Wall Street stuff.
Yep.
I think there's better.
Is there
films.
better stripper movies? Is this better than Coyote Ugly? Is that?
I've not seen Coyote Ugly.
Is it better than Showgirls?
Showgirls. I hear rad things, and we should watch that.
Showgirls? Have you not seen Showgirls?
No.
Before? Oh man.
That's a podcast, right?
Yeah, oh god, yeah. Showgirls is fucking. It loops right round into just being, what the fuck is happening?
Yes,
You know.
Showgirls is probably better.
Yeah,
than
and this never goes anywhere.
No, for the first 20 minutes, I thought this might be really good, and then
I didn't have that thought.
I was like the moment on the roof, and it was really well shot.
That was
And
a
I
well
like,
shot. I did think
the
when
lighting's great.
when she was sat there having a cigarette in her fur coat on top of the roof with her big shoes, I was like, that was great.
I was like, oh, this is a divine looking shot.
Yeah, that was really nice. But the thing was, I was watching this going, well, yeah, this is all set up because this is going to go somewhere. And then it took fucking ages to go somewhere, and then it went somewhere, and where it went was just like, and then we started grifting people, and I was like, okay, cool, all right, that's, yeah, I mean, but this, you've got to give me something a bit more than that, because honestly, this grift doesn't seem that.
It's not that complicated.
Yeah, there wasn't any, there wasn't like the satisfaction of seeing a clever heist go down. There wasn't like the high stakes risk thing. Like, I never necessarily felt that anyone was really in that much danger.
Yeah, when things went wrong, which they did a couple of times,
Yeah.
it never felt like, oh my god, they could be really in trouble here.
Yeah, like,
Even though there was a moment where they really tried to make it seem like that was the case.
and they still have fucking comedy beats in it. In the sequence where they're taking the guy who jumps off the roof and like fucks himself up to the hospital, they get stopped by the police car.
They stopped beside the police car.
They then do 2 comedy beats in what should be a really tense moment.
Yeah.
Because it's like, he wakes up and she goes, punches him in the face, like, by accident. And then the other girl who throws up. That's her character. And she plays Betty Cooper in Riverdale, I just realised. She's a better actress than this would have you believe.
Yeah.
Alright, I think we've said all we're going to say, right? You got anything else in the tank?
No, what?
How long have we been recording? Okay, 20 minutes, that's fine.
enough.
That's enough.
That's enough for this movie.
That's about what this movie deserves. Shay, I'm going to push you to a final thought, if you wouldn't mind.
Watch Broad City, watch Money Monster,
Watch Riverdale.
Watch Riverdale.
Yes!
Watch Widows.
Yeah, Widows! Widows! Widows is way better! Go watch Widows, and then go listen to our episode about Widows.
My recommendation is you listen to us talk about Widows.
In a very noisy back side room in a cinema, going.
But we had lots of positive things to say.
We did, yeah. Widows is great. Ah, man, I should watch that. I might even watch Widows again at some point. Like, you know, as a sort of like panacea to this not very good movie, I would probably watch Widows instead anytime. Widows.
I'm happy that this movie has maybe given Jennifer Lopez another chance to do more acting.
And she's 50.
What is she?
Yeah, she's 50 and she's doing all that
She's doing
pole dance
great.
shit and she looks great. And we were like, yeah, good for you. Great. What's the...
Oh, and also watch Constance Wu in better films as well.
Yeah.
Because she deserves better.
What else has she been in? I've seen her in
The
things.
Feels is really good.
The Fields.
Yeah, The
Ooh.
Feels. Check it out.
I will.
I think that. Sorry.
Well, yeah, it was just your final thoughts, lists of other movies to watch.
List of other movies. Oh, and then I was gonna be like, oh yeah, hopefully Jennifer Lopez gets more stuff, and also, this movie provided us a chance for me and you to have a one-on-one where it doesn't go on for more than 30 minutes.
Yeah, we've definitely achieved that goal.
We've achieved something.
All
tonight.
it took was a boring and not very good movie. And for my final thoughts, gotta unlock the phone. Tipper-tapper. And for my final thoughts, yeah, go see it I think this movie deserves some support, because it's all female-led. It's female writer and director, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Which is why I feel bad about.
Yeah, but a thing that Jim often says, which I do agree with, is that in an ideal world, we shouldn't be too precious about being deliberately nice to representation-based films, because in an ideal world, you should be allowed to have bad female-fronted, queer-fronted, minority-fronted movies, and it doesn't end careers or like a whole...
bad queer-fronted.
So I've seen a fair few as well. But yeah, it's not the worst movie I've ever seen. It's just very dull.
Yeah, it's not the worst.
It's just way too long, and it needs a good edit. And yeah, it's fine.
If it was 30 minutes shorter, it would be like, oh yeah, that was alright.
There we go. And because of that, this recording is going to be sub 22 minutes. Congratulations, Chay.
Yay!